In this lesson, I want to explain parametric object here. Okay, holding a mouse over this icon to open the window of the parametric object, click on this dash line to undock the window here. I right click on the window, as I said before, in the icon size, make the large icon to see them better, and I explain one by one. Click on a cube will be appear, insert in a scene manager, and in object manager we have a cube. As I said before, when you click on any object in the object manager on the scene, in the attribute, its properties will be appear here. We have some tabs here. In object tab, we have the parameter of that or setting of that object. The size X or Y, pay attention, you have to be in a model mode. If you are in a surface or line or point mode, you cannot change the parameter in a viewport. We are going to the model mode, and you can grab this handle to change the size in X and Y in Z. This is cube, as you can see, very easy. The segments are the line for cut the object. For example, if the segment is X or Y or Z, for example, X, I change the segment. For seeing the segment, you have to go into the display mode and activate graph shading with lines, and you can see the segment. What are these segments? For example, I changing the segment in the Y or Z. If you change or make the cube editable and going to the polygon or line, these are polygons. These segments are for cutting this surface to the desired polygon, and you can begin modeling with Control Z. So you can use segment here. The segments are useful for that. Separate, for example, I'm changing this segment to the one. Separate surfaces. When you make editable this object that the separate surfaces is untick, and you can see we have the object with one. We have one object. If you Control Z, okay, Control Z, sorry. If you separate surfaces and make editable, as you can see, we have a group that all the faces of this object are in it. We're going to the model mode, and you can open any surface that you want, because we take the separate object on it. Okay, that's the cube in a group. Can delete that and insert a cube again. And the fillet, if you pay attention, you have to go to the model mode, be in a model mode, and the fillet for making the border or the edges more rounded. And you can see this handle, you can change the fillet radius as well as here and this section, and the fillet subdivision for more smooth bevel or fillet. You can increase the fillet subdivision. As you can see, you can have a more nice and smooth bevel and round corners. Okay, that's a cube, and all its option. Another parametric object is cylinder. Here you can, with this handle, change the radius of the cylinder. We have an object and caps and slice tabs will be added to this object. In here you can change the height of the cylinder. We have a height segment. We can increase the height segment. In a rotation segment, you can increase or decrease the rotation. If you reduce the segment of the rotation, you can make these shapes. Okay. And orientation, you can change the orientation of the object. As you can see, the axis is fixed, but you can change the orientation of the object. Plus Y is in default. And caps. When you deactivate the cap, as you can see, the top and bottom cap will be disappear. These are caps. Turn it on, top and bottom cap. And you can change the segment of the tab by here. And of course, in a cap segment, you can activate the fillet of the cap. As I said before, you can change the radius by handling this. And you can change the segment of the fillet here and radius. Another tab that will appear here is a slice. When you activated a slice, you can slice the object here from to this angle. You can animate this option with this click here. We will teach you in the animation section lessons. As you can see, in this polygon we have segments. If you want to make it to the regular grid, tick this and you can see the polygon change in this way, and you can change the widths. When you reduce the widths, more polygon we have here. And after you make editable, all of this make into the polygon. Going to the polygon mode, and as you can see, all of the segment and line change to the polygon, line and point. Okay, that is a cylinder. This is a plane. This is a simple plane. We have just an object. Going to the model mode, and you can change the height, width and the height of the plane, and you can change it here also. I want to tell you something about these numbers or this field here. You can click on them and type any number that you want here. If you click and drag, you can simply change the number here, and if you hold down Alt, you can change the number in this way. Okay, you can click and drag or holding Alt. For example, 5, and you can holding Alt 5.76, and you can change it the way in a smaller number if you holding down Alt and click and drag. Okay, as I said before, you have segment in height and weight and orientation. Another object is disk. You can change going to the object, you can change the radius, and here you can change the inner radius. Simply here, disk segment, and the rotation segment, you can reduce the rotation segment to making these shapes. And we have a slice. You can turn it on and change a slice here like this. All of the settings are the same. The polygon, we have the empty, we have just a polygon. It's just polygon. If you increase the segment here, you can make it to the plane. And the triangle mode is when you activate it, it's like a triangle. The smallest polygon in a 3D world with a 3 edge and 1 surface. You can use it. Another parametric object is a sphere. In a sphere, we have just an object. You can change the radius here. You can change the segment here. And the important part of the sphere is its type. It's a standard type. It's hemisphere, the half sphere. It is tetrahedron, hexahedron. These are Roman numbers, like here again. You can see mono means 1, D, 3, tetra, penta, hexa, hepta, octa, nano. And you can see these are Roman numbers. In the type, you can go into the standard and in a render perfect. First, explain the type, and after that we go into the render perfect. Hemisphere, tetrahedron. As you can see, tetra means 4. It means, as you can see, we have 4 parts. You can see this. We have 4 parts that combine together and create a sphere. Hexahedron, hexa, 6. We have 6 parts like this. As you can see, this is part number 1, part number 6 parts together combining and making the sphere. These types are very important for simulation. Octahedron, I think the best simulation is icosahedron. This is best mode for simulation. Okay, render perfect. If you reduce the segment, as you can see, it is not a smooth sphere as before. When you hit render, you can see it render the sphere in the perfect mode. If you untick that and render it again, you can see it's rendered. If you want to see the polygons, you can untick the font tag. As I said before, you can see the font, or change radius down, or change the angle down the polygon font tag, and you can see the edges. Use edges here. Okay, the sphere, going back to the object surface and the render perfect. This option is for rendering this sphere in a perfect mode. Okay, another object is capsule. You can change your radius, you can change the height segments, cap segment, these are caps, top and bottom caps. The rotation, you can change, you can create shape like this with rotation segment. These are orientation, and the slice. As you can see, you can turn 2 tab here. Simply hold and then hold shift and click on any tab. You can turn all tab together in the one tab. Okay, you can go into these tabs individually, but if you holding down shift and click on it, you can mix 2 tabs together in one tab. In a slice, you can slice it as before, regular grid. Okay, another object is a coin. You can simply change the bottom radius, change the height. The top radius is interesting. You can change the top radius here. This handle. Height segment as before. Rotation segment and a slice. Regular grid. Simple. And another option is figure. It's very important for rigging. You can test your rigging in this simple character. In the option tab, in the object tab, just we have a height. It's a regular height of person and the segments of its body. But the important part, if you make this editable and if you open all of this, control click on this and open all of its hierarchies, you can see it's hierarchy very simple here. Can make it bigger. Click and drag here to see all of this hierarchy, and it is very practical and useful for rigging system. When we want to explain your rigging system, we use this simple figure for its hand, for its foot. Another object is a landscape. We click and drag this handle, you can change the size of the landscape in X, Y, and Z. You can change or click and drag in these handles. Width segment, you can change the segment of the wings, segment of the depths, or rough furrows. When you can change the overall peaks or furrows with this handle, increase or decrease that. The fine furrows, you can increase or decrease the furrows in detail, in more detail here. You can change the segments. The scale is important. You can scale the overall landscape. The sea level, for example, we have a sea can around this mountain, and you can change its. We can change the height, its level here. You can see this is sea level. If you untick the border at the sea level, as you can see, this border will be not maintaining anymore. Sorry. If you tick the border at the sea, this border of the plane will be maintained. If you untick that, you can see the sea level better. Okay. And here is spherical. You can make your plane like a spherical. Multifractal or multifractal is for changing the mathematical operation for creating this landscape. You can change it. You can change the seed for random change the mountains and landscape, or untick multifractal. And we go into the plateau level. Reduce this, and you can make a plateau here, for example, building your house in here. Okay, this is landscape. Just have an object tab. That's very easy. Oil tank is something like oil tank. All settings are as said before. And the pyramid just has options, size and segment. That's it. Size X and Y and Z. You can change it if you want. Another object is platonic. It's an object. You can change the radius, segment, and type. Tetra, hexa, icosahedron. You can change octahedron, icosahedron, bucky. It's a lucky bucky ball. You can change its type to any type that you want. The tube, we use it a lot. You can change the height, inner radius, outer radius, cap segment, the height segment. Can add a fillet. You can slice it, leg it. All of these settings are the same. Okay. The object is torus. You can change ring radius, ring segment. You can increase. You can reduce the segment. You can create shape like this. The pipe radius, the pipe segment, and slice, and other setting like before. And the interesting thing here is a Bezier. It's a plane. We are in a model mode, but unfortunately we can't see any handle of it. In this object, you have to go into point mode. If you go into the point mode, you can see this point here, and you can click and drag to make a something like this. The Bezier handle. Going to the up to explain more option. For example, you can make something like this. Very easy. Oh, sorry. Going here. You can change subdivision X or subdivision Y and grid point. If you change them, it's going to previous position. You can see before changing the grid point, you can add the point at the Y and X. As you can see, we add 2 points here, 3 points here. You can see more point. If you're going to Ctrl Z, it has been bug. I think sorry for that. For deleting that, you have to go into model mode. It was a bug. Sorry for that. Okay, I'll reduce the point to the smallest number is 3. Go into the point mode, and you can change it. Okay, if I changing the position of this dot for explain the close X and Y, going up here, we want to explain. Okay, make it like this, and you can close the circle in X, close the circle in a Y. You can make something like this, and after that you can change the points. So the important point of Bezier is that you have to go in a point mode. If you go into the model mode, you can see any point. Okay, that's Bezier. And the last thing is empty polygon. In an empty polygon, we just have an empty, nothing in it. You can use it as a null object, or you can use the polygon pen and create a polygon on it. And the polygon that you created goes in this empty polygon. Okay, it's not very important. Okay, this is parametric object that are here, and you can use it in your project. And for example, this cube, the complex modeling begins from this simple object. Hello my friends, to continue these tutorials on YouTube, subscribe us, like us, and hit the bell icon. And now you will be alerted about all of the amazing videos that we release.